Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unemployment Insurance Agency Employer Seminar, hosted by the Office of Employer Ombudsman. My name is Kiera, and I am joined by my colleagues Jim, Geraldine, and Shapriya today. You can ask general questions in the chat if you like. They will be answered at the end during our Q&A session. For specific questions, please give us a phone call at the Office of Employer Ombudsman for further assistance at 1-855-484-2636, extension 4. We are available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. An introduction to unemployment insurance, the Unemployment Insurance Agency. Employer Help Center. Our Employer Help Center is an innovative, all-in-one resource that answers unemployment and tax questions in 6 easy-to-follow categories, including registering your business, managing your claims. We have a facts and resources page. You can also submit reports and payments, manage your account, contact UIA. You can get to this page by going to our website, michigan.gov/UIA Employer Help Center. UIA Chatbot. The new UIA Chatbot. Now claimants and employers can quickly find the information they need about unemployment. Our new chatbot leverages the power of AI. It is accessible 24/7 on phones and desktops. It answers general UI questions. It is fast and provides reliable information. Users can rate the performance. Try it out today at michigan.gov/UIA. The chatbot icon will be located in the bottom right corner as pictured here. Contents. Today we will discuss what is unemployment insurance, UI, navigating Michigan's Web Account Manager, MyWAM, benefit claims, reviewing registration and seeking work waiver, general eligibility, monetary determinations, non-monetary determinations and benefit charges. We'll review employer accounts, determining liability, tax rate calculation, overall employer liability, and using MyWAM, the appeals process and information. We'll also provide additional resources including Michigan's Workshare program, fraud, how to contact us, and our new system, MyUI. Today, we will briefly review our new system. What is unemployment insurance? The unemployment insurance provides temporary income to workers who have lost their job through no fault of their own. The purpose is to serve as a liaison between unemployment insurance and its employer customers, provide accurate, professional, and timely assistance, expeditiously address concerns, collection benefit, tax, MyWIM support, and Workshare representatives are available to assist and answer your questions. What is unemployment insurance UI? The Unemployment Insurance Agency operates the unemployment insurance program. This program provides temporary income for workers who are unemployed through no fault of their own while they seek reemployment. The program is funded through unemployment taxes paid by employers. How to get to MyWAM? You can get to MyWAM by going to our website, www.michigan.gov/UIA. Mid-page, you'll see people shaking hands picture here. Under Employer Services, you will click on Manage Your Tax Account. Navigating MyWAM. MyWAM account login. The MyWAM for Employers homepage is where you can sign up for the MyWAM for Employers, or you can log in. So to the right is the login to MyOne for Employers, where you will enter your username and password and sign in. To sign up, it'll be to the right of the page under Online Services for Employers. You will click on Sign Up for an Employer/Service Provider MyWim account. Registration and Seeking Work Waiver. The Registration and Seeking Work RSW waiver allows a worker to collect benefits during a short-term layoff period while not being required to register and seek work. The criteria for establishing a waiver are: 1. The separation must be a layoff for lack of work. 2. The layoff is temporary. Work will be available within 45 days. 3. The request must be received before the layoff occurs, no later than the week prior to the layoff. We want to emphasize requesting the waiver at least 7 days prior to the layoff date because the system will not allow us to backdate. And 4, a suggestion. Enter the full 45-day allotted time when entering the back to work date. We suggest that just in case the layoff lasts longer than expected, you and your employees will be covered. Seeking work waiver. The Unemployment Insurance Agency, UIA, has made it faster and easier for employers to request an RSW waiver by requesting one online. The request and approval can be completed in minutes. Waivers can be requested through the Michigan Web Account Manager, MyWam. You'll log into your MyWam account. Under Accounts tab, select UI Tax. Select the Account Services tab. Scroll down under Benefit Services and select Seeking Work Waiver. On the Seeking Work Waiver page, you will see your UIA account number, the multi-unit number, which you do not have to change unless you have multiple locations. You will put in the last day worked, which is at least 7 days prior to submitting the Seeking Work Waiver, and the back to work date, which is 45 days after the last day worked. Work location is not required but can be helpful if you have multiple locations. You'll next step, then submit. Seeking Work Waiver Extension. Extensions can be entered on the 44th or 45th day from the last day worked. You are allowed 2 extensions max. After 2 extensions, the employees will be required to register for and seek work. Again, you're going to log into your MyWim account. Under the Accounts tab, click on UI Tax. Click on the Account Services tab. Scroll down under Benefit Services and you're going to click Seeking Work Waiver Extension. On the Seeking Work Waiver Extension page, you will again see your UIA account number, the multi-unit number that you can choose to change if you need to. You will put in the last day worked, which is the last day worked you provided on the original waiver, and the back to work date, which is 45 days from the original back to work date. You will select a reason as to why you need this extension. One box needs to be checked, so please just choose the box that fits your situation the closest. Work location is not required but can be helpful if you have multiple locations. Note that if the calendar is not showing up in the last day worked field, it is too soon to submit the waiver. For reference, in this illustration, in the last day worked field, there is a drop-down box arrow and not a calendar because it is too soon. You'll next step and submit. General eligibility. Benefit calculations. A contributing employer's state unemployment tax rate is based on the history of charges and unemployment tax payments. The key to controlling charges is understanding them and knowing how to avoid them. Understand how the claimant qualifies monetarily. Understand other factors related to a claimant's eligibility and how to raise those issues if appropriate. General eligibility base period. The claimant must have been paid sufficient wages in the base period of the claim to qualify for benefits. To determine if the claimant has been paid sufficient wages in the base period to qualify for benefits, two criteria must be met. Claimant must have high quarter gross wages of at least $4,842, and the claimant must have total gross base period wages of at least 1.5 times high quarter gross wages. Pictured below are the quarters, 5, 6 quarters, for an employee. The base period is normally the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters, highlighted here. General eligibility, employer liability, how an employer's account is charged for benefits. Last, most recent employer is charged 100% of the first 2 weeks of benefits if that employer paid the claimant at least $2,828 in gross wages in the claimant's last period of employment with that employer. Each base period employer is charged, beginning with week 3, the same percentage of the weekly benefit amount as the employer's percentage of base period wages. Determinations and decisions. So to view determinations and decisions, you'll log into your MyWM account. Under Accounts, click on UI Tax. Click on the Account Services tab. Scroll down toward the bottom, and under Benefit Services, you will click on View Determinations and Decisions. Review and protest benefit determinations and decisions. You may also submit fact-finding. Here, you'll see an Issues tab, Fact-finding, and Non-responsive tab. With monetary determinations and redeterminations, they will be listed under the Issue tab. Here you'll see the date that the letter was sent, the letter ID number, the issue and decision type, the claimant's name, the last 4 of the claimant's Social Security number, their claim ID, the status of the determination, and under Action, you'll have the option to file a protest or appeal. Monetary determination / redetermination request for information letter form UIA 1575E. Picture here is the monetary redetermination and request for information. In the very first paragraph, it'll tell you that an unemployment claim for the specific claimant was filed on a specific date. You must respond to this request for information by a date to prevent immediate payout of the claim and charges to your account. Please note, protesting within 10 days of the mail date on the monetary determination or redetermination will help prevent the claim from entering pay status. Further down in the determination or redetermination will be listed the claimant's reason for separation and their claim information, including the claimant's Social Security number, the benefit year begin date, which is the BYB, the benefit year end date, which is the BYE, the weekly benefit amount, the number of dependents, number of weeks of benefits that the claimant is allotted, and then the base period wage begin date and end date for reference. Form UIA 1575 continued. You will also see a chart of the base period wages and employer account charges. Here's where you'll see your information as the employer and other employers that are included on the claim. It'll have the employer name, base period wages, separation reason reported by the claimant, separating employer charges, non-charge amount, and total potential maximum charges to your account. You'll also see here, you'll have protest and/or appeal rights. It'll let you know that your protest and/or appeal must be received no later than 30 days after the mail date or the determination or redetermination becomes final. Form UIA 1575 continued. On our third page, you'll see other protest rights. You'll see the claimant's name and social security number. If you have or are making special payments to the claimant after the benefit year begin date, the B by B date, you have the opportunity to submit those earnings, holiday, vacation pay, severance pay, sick pay, etc. here. You can also let us know if the individual is currently employed with you. At the very bottom, you have the option to change the separation reason. So if the separation reason is different from what the claimant is stating, you can check a box here at the bottom. Non-monetary misconduct. In misconduct separations, the employer bears the burden of proof. Misconduct, according to the MES Act, Section 29 1B, states in pertinent part, misconduct could be a willful and wanton disregard of employer's interest, i.e., deliberate violations or disregard of standards of behavior which the employer has a right to expect of his employee, or carelessness or negligence committed by the employee. Please review the entire statute for additional information regarding misconduct definition. Non-monetary determinations are decided by the benefits team, and a determination is issued to all interested parties. Should you disagree with the determination, you can file a protest through your MyWEM account. Non-monetary voluntary leaving. In voluntary leaving separations, the burden of proof is on the claimant to show either leaving was involuntary, provide medical evidence that continuing work would be injurious, unsuccessfully attempted to secure alternate work from employer, unsuccessfully attempt to secure leave of absence, or leaving was voluntary but with good cause attributable to the employer. Fact finding. Providing information letter, Form UIA 1713. Again, to get to this page, you will log into your MyWEM account. Under the Accounts tab, click on UI Tax. Click on Account Services. Scroll down to Benefit Services and click on View Determinations and Decisions. Review and protest benefit determinations and decisions. You may also submit fact finding. Fact finding. Providing information letter, Form UIA 1713. On the fact finding page, you'll see the non-monetary fact finding issue details. You'll see the issue, the circumstance, and you can respond to do you wish to respond. You can say yes and answer the questions. Saying no is a response. You can also change the issue and change the fact finding. After answering the questions, in the bottom right corner, you can click on the Add tab. You'll see the box here where you can select the file to attach. Here's where you can add any additional information that you feel is relevant to the fact finding. You'll click Next Step and Submit. Now I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiera. Benefit charges. Now, to view this page in the MyWim account, once again, you would, once you log into your MyWim account, you click UI Tax on the home screen. Then you click Account Services across the middle of the screen, and then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you would have this list of options under the bold heading of Benefit Services. And then you have view benefit charges and credits, and really basically most or anything that has to do with claims is going to be up under benefit services. But the first option is going to be view benefit charges and credits. And so once you click on view benefit charges and credits, the MyWM account, it actually provides you with a a view of all of the quarterly benefit charges that have been charges and credits that have been charged to your account or been credited to your account. It's all done in quarters. If you want to see more specific information, you would select or click on the specific quarter that you would like to review. Once you select the quarter, this page comes up and then it will list all of the individuals that had benefit charges against your account for that specific quarter or credits that have been credited to your account. And you'll see the difference when you have credits over here where there's the total. So first of all, you have the claimant social security number, their last name, their first name, mail date, the number of items or number of certifications, and then where the total is, uh, that is basically all of the charges against your account. If there's a negative sign, then that would be credits that are credited back to your account. If you want to protest, which is your right as an employer, if you want to protest some benefit charges, what you would do is click on the file protest hyperlink that is on every associated with every week of the certification of charges. Once you click on the protest hyperlink, then you have this, you get this screen, and then there's a drop down box where you can select a reason. Now I know our drop down boxes aren't exhaustive, so maybe there are, maybe there's a reason that does not fall into this purview. Um, if there's something else that you think, and I know there's nuance surrounding some of these employer-employee type situations, you have the option at the end to add a document. And for those that process those protests, you can actually add something on your letterhead, and then you can provide a more detailed explanation of your reason for protesting and provide documents that support your reason for protesting. Okay. Now this is the paper 1136. So just like you, for everything that is available in MyWM, typically there's a paper document that's also sent out to the employer. Once again, this is a weekly statement of benefit charges, and it kind of gives you just an idea, once again, of the individuals that have claims and the specific week, the certification weekending dates. That's when the claimant certified, when they went in to do their certification. For a claimant to get paid for each week, they have to do a specific certification for that week. Um, and then they have the payment adjustment date, meaning based on that certification, this is when the agency actually paid out the claim. Okay, and then the adjustment type, sometimes that can vary depending on when the individual certifies, or if there's a protest or something. There's just a lot of variables there. If the individual is still working, then they need to report earnings. They need to report earnings. So if they report earnings on the certification, it specifically asks each claimant, did you work this week? And if you did work this week, where did you work? And then how much money did you make? And so when they put in their reported earnings, then the system will actually kind of prorate and it can potentially adjust what they receive in UI benefits for that week. Non-monetary determinations. So once again, just navigate MyWM, clicking UI tax, then account services. Once you click that account services tab, once again, you just get a lot more options in MyWM, and you scroll all the way down and you get view determinations and decisions, which gives you an opportunity to review and protest benefit determinations and decisions. You also can submit fact finding there. If you're going to be responding to claims, you're going to use view determinations and decisions quite often. Once you click view determinations and decisions, this is the next screen, and you see it has issue. That's the first screen. Fact finding, if you in the light blue shaded area, fact finding, and then non-responsive. It gives you an opportunity to submit fact finding documents and then non responsive documents or non responsive protest if you disagree with the non responsive finding. And so the monetary determinations are here, the date they were sent, the letter ID, the issue and decision type, the name of the claimant's social security number, the claim ID, the status or where the status of the claim is, very important, and then the action, file protest if you would like to file a protest. Protesting monetary or non-monetary determinations. Once you click the blue file protest hyperlink, then this is the next screen that comes up. And then it automatically the system references the letter ID, the date it was sent, the claimant's name, the social security number, and then it asks, is this protest related to ID theft? If you click yes, then the drop down box after that is totally different if you click yes. Okay, because that obviously ID theft and fraud, those are very serious issues, and so that the drop down box after that asks you some other specific questions, and then that'll get our fraud department involved. But if you click no, then it just gives you some more options as an employer, to select your reason for protest, and so forth. And then at the end, once again, you get an opportunity to add attachments. Uh, I know, once again, our drop down boxes aren't exhaustive, and I know there's some nuance surrounding these employee type situations. And so you get the opportunity to add documents or even provide a letter of a synopsis of the specific situation involving the employer, and this is the reason why you're protesting. And the agency will review that information. Appeals, protest deadlines. A protest or appeal must be received by the UIA within 30 days of the date of mailing of the disputed determination or redetermination. The 30 days starts to run the day after the date of mailing, and every day counts, including weekends and holidays. If the 30th day is a weekend or holiday, the protest or appeal is due by the end of the next day that is not a weekend or holiday. And so I want to advise employers, don't send something out on the 30th day and say it's in the mail. No, it should actually be in the UIA's hands. It should be here for ready to be processed at the latest that 30th day. It should already be in the agency already should be in receipt of your protest. Appeals, participating in a hearing. The administrative law hearing is a de novo hearing. The administrative law judge takes testimony under oath. The ALJ applies the rules of evidence similar to the way they are applied in a court of law, and each party gives direct testimony and is subject to cross examination. If the appealing party does not appear at the hearing, the appeal will be dismissed for lack of prosecution. If the party with the burden of proof does not appear at the hearing, the appeal could only be won if the other party makes a mea culpa statement. If the party with the burden of proof makes certain statements to meet that burden, the imposing party would wish to be present to respond to those statements and to cross examine those statements. So just to highlight for employers, if you once you get a determination or a decision from the agency, if you disagree with the decision that the agency has came up with on a specific claim, that's when you submit your protest or appeal to that determination. Once you submit your protest or appeal to that determination, then um, that protest or appeal goes over to the administrative law judge or the court. It goes over to the court, and then the court is going to contact you. The court is independent of the agency, and they have the right to overrule the agency if they feel like the evidence uh, uh, the evidence is overwhelming, or they feel like they reviewed the evidence and they saw something different than what the agency came up with. Okay. Are you liable for unemployment insurance? Section 41(1) of the Michigan Employment Security Act states an employing unit pays $1,000 or more in wages for covered employment in a calendar year, or the employing unit has at least one employee in covered employment in at least 20 different calendar weeks in a calendar year. The weeks do not have to be consecutive, and it does not have to be the same employee. Up under Section 41(2) of the Michigan Employment Security Act, the employing unit acquires an existing business that was already determined by the Unemployment Insurance Agency to be a liable employer. Section 41(5) of the Michigan Employment Security Act states if the employing unit has at least 10 employees performing agricultural services for some portion of a day in at least 20 different calendar weeks in the previous or current calendar year, the weeks do not have to be consecutive and it does not have to be the same employee. Paid remuneration and cash of $20,000 or more to employees performing agricultural service. In Section 41(6) of the Michigan Employment Security Act, the employing unit paid $1,000 or more for domestic services in a calendar quarter in the previous or current calendar year. Types of employers. Contributing, of which probably about 80% of the state of Michigan, the employers are contributing employers, which is a for-profit employer, or it could be a nonprofit employer that has elected or has not elected to be reimbursing. So nonprofit employers are not automatically considered reimbursing employers. They can actually elect to be contributing employers. Or you can have reimbursing employers. And those are nonprofit employers that have 501(c)(3) status from the IRS and has elected to be reimbursing. Governmental entities, cities, county, township, school districts, and then Native American tribes and tribal units. Tax rate is experience rated. To determine an employer's annual tax rate, Michigan has an experience tax rated system that uses an employer's past unemployment benefit claims, payroll size, and years of experience to determine the tax rate. Employers with more occurrences of unemployment in their workforce would generally pay a higher tax rate. Tax rate, why would it increase? And these are the factors that will cause the tax rate to increase. Once again, benefits paid or claims, unpaid or underpaid taxes, and then increasing payroll. That can cause your tax rate to increase. Tax rate calculations. Employer tax rates are calculated by using the following three components: the chargeable benefits component, the CBC, the account building component, the ABC, and then the non-chargeable benefits component, which is the NBC. And so the CBC plus the ABC plus the NBC equal the tax rate. The employer's experience. The chargeable benefits component of the CBC and the account building component, the ABC, are affected by the employer's, once again, payroll, the unemployment benefit charges to the account, and the tax payments received. And since these components reflect each company's own experience, they are known as the experience components. Employees' experience, the CBC. Now, this component takes into consideration the amount of unemployment benefits charged to an employer's account over a 36-month or 3-year period ending the previous June 30th. Once again, this takes into account the charges for claims. And so the equation used is going to be 36 months of benefits paid over 36 months of taxable payroll equals the chargeable benefits component, or the CBC. And the result is rounded to the next higher 0.1%. Employers experience the ABC, and this component is used to calculate an optimal balance for each employer's account. So all monies paid in UI taxes since the business began, minus all benefit charges assigned to the business since it began, including the predecessor reserve if you purchased another business, equals the actual reserve. And then employers' total gross payroll for the 12 months ending the previous June 30th times the cost criterion of 3.75% equals the required reserve. And so this equation is used the required reserve minus the actual reserve times the multiplier of 0.5 divided by 12 months of total payroll ending June 30th equals the account building component, or the ABC. Tax rate for all employers, the NBC. Effective January 2013, new employers will have a 1% non-chargeable benefit component in the third year when they become fully experienced. And this component is the only one of the three that does not entirely reflect an employer's own experience. This component is generally a flat 1% for all fully experienced employers with benefit charges. So for employers with no or very few benefit charges, the NBC can range from 0.5% to as low as 0.06%. Tax rate, the effects of missing tax reports. If any of the tax reports needed for the computation period are missing or not filed, the employer will receive a computed tax rate plus a 3% non-reporting penalty added to their tax rate. If none of the required tax reports are filed, the rate will be set at the highest rate applicable for the number of years in business plus a 3% non-reporting penalty. For fully experienced employers, the rate could be 10.3% plus 3%, which equals 13.3%. If the missing reports are filed within 30 days of the tax rate determination, the non-reporting penalty is removed. And beyond the 30 days, but up to 1 year, the non-reporting penalty can be reduced to 2%. So just to emphasize to all employers, because we field a lot of calls from employers saying I made the payment or I sent the money, but I didn't send the report. Everything for the agency is report driven. I can emphasize the importance of the reports. They affect everything, not just penalty and interest, but then they also can affect your rate or assign you a rate penalty. So it's the reports, the reports. I want to emphasize submitting the reports timely and accurate, timely and accurate. Estimated and zero wages. If an employer does not file a tax report, the quarter in question is estimated by the agency after properly notifying the employer for the tax delinquency. If in zero wage tax reports, if an active employer does not have employees or wages in any quarter, then zero wage tax report must be filed, including seasonal employers. A zero wage tax report must also be filed in the initial quarter for any new employee unit that becomes an employer for the first time but hire the employees toward the end of the quarter and reach liability in the subsequent quarter. So for each of these estimated tax reports, estimated tax reports don't just happen. Typically, the agency will reach out to the employer. If you don't receive a report by the 25th of the month following the end of the quarter, you receive a delinquent tax report letter. Then you receive a determination of willful neglect letter. And then ultimately you receive an estimated tax report letter that lets you know that because you haven't provided the agency with the actual report with the correct wages on it, then our system will once again estimate something. And you really don't want that because our estimates are typically higher, and then there's penalty and interest added to that. Also, for zero wage tax reports, if you have an employer based upon the sixth section 41 of the Michigan Employment Security Act, once you tell us you have a gross payroll of $1,000 or more, that's when you receive your UIA account, whatever date you give the agency. And once again, our system is calibrated with that. So sometimes on occasion, you might have an employer who says that their liability date, I hired somebody in the first quarter, but I did not meet that gross payroll limit until sometime in the second quarter. So for the agency won't provide you with an account until that liability incurred date is met in the second quarter, yet you're still responsible for that report in the first quarter. But for that first quarter report, you can actually, that can be a zero report. Okay, so I would advise all employers make sure you are cognizant of when you submit your registration if quarters are split. That's very important. And then look at the or read the UIA 1183, the employer status determination. That's the first letter that goes out from the agency once you register with the agency, and it actually details your account number, the federal ID number that you provided, but also the liability dates that you provided, the date that you said that you first hired somebody in Michigan, the date you met that gross payroll limit in Michigan, and based upon that, in the middle of that form, it'll say, based upon the liability dates that you submitted, this is when your first report should be due, and it'll let you know. Thank you so much. Appreciate your attention. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Geraldine.
All right. Thank you, James. That was some very informative information. So we're going to jump right into using MyWham in the account main page. So when you all first log into your MyWham page, MyWham account, this is what you will see. It will show you your balance under alerts. Under I want to, you'll have the option to chat with an agent, send us a message, view the employer handbook. So, a lot of times, if you need something in writing regarding our laws or rules, you can check out that employer handbook and you'll have that information in writing. You'll have the option to set up email reminders, add or update your power of attorney, set up payment arrangements if you owe a balance, apply for a WOTC, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. You can also request a benefit charges file. So lots of things you can do here right on this main page. Also, if you click UI tax there, whenever it's in blue, that means that's your active account number. So sometimes you may have two account numbers. The gray one will always be inactive. If it's in blue under UI tax there to the left, that means it's active. All right. And so from that main page, if you click on the multi-account services tab, it will bring up the options for bulk reports and bulk report filing, bulk payments. So you have the option to do either of these if you have multiple employers that you need to file bulk payments for or file bulk reports. You have that option here. If you need instructions on bulk payment or filing, you can always get the toolkits that are available on our website, michigan.gov/UIA, under employer services. Then down here at the bottom, if you click on the names and addresses tab, you'll have the option to update your legal name, your physical address, your legal address, and your mailing address. Those all will be options if you click on the names and addresses tab. All right, using MyWham, viewing recent periods. So once you click on UI tags from the first homepage, it will bring you to the period screen. So this is shown here. On your period screen, it will show you all the previous periods that you have filed reports for. It will also show you your most up-to-date one that is coming up that you will need to file a return for. It'll show you your balances. It will also show you whether or not you filed the previous reports on time, whether they're late, or if you've submitted a draft and you forgot to submit it. All of those features will show here. Once you file your return, if you come back to this period screen, you will then have the option to make payment. So the file return link will actually turn into make payment, and then you can go ahead and make the payment on that period. All right, and then if you click on the Recent Items tab, you'll have the option to see requests waiting to be processed. If you click that first More button next to requests waiting to be processed in the first column here, you will be able to see anything you have saved as a draft. So if you ever need to come back to something, you will find it right there next to requests waiting to be processed. It will also show you anything pending, like if you submitted a notice of change, it will show you if that item is still waiting to be processed. The next column there is all letters. You'll be able to see all letters on your account. Anything we've ever sent you will be in this all letters column. And then the unread notices, you will be able to read any of your unread web notices that we have sent you. All right, and then using MyWham full account access. So once you receive your authorization code in the mail, remember it's only going to come in the mail, your authorization code. Um, Once you receive that, you'll be able to log in and you'll have full account access to your MyWham account. These are all of the things here that you'll have once you have full account access. You'll be able to do things like request a waiver if you owe penalty and interest. You'll be able to view benefit charges and credits if you ever wanted to go back and look at what quarter you received charges for, or if you have any credits coming up, you'll be able to do that here. You'll also be able to view your determinations and decisions, where you can review and protest benefit determinations and decisions. You can also submit your fact finding here. So once you get your full account access, you want to go under here under account services and just view all of your different options here of what you can do in your MyWham account. It's very beneficial. All right, and then adding payment profiles. This is actually a new feature in MyWham. So service providers can add payment profiles that are exclusive to their client's account. This will allow the payments to be made from the client's bank account and not the service provider's account. So to start this, for step one, you would access the settings tab from the service provider account. And then step two, you'll select the payment sources tab on the left-hand side. And that will bring up this box where on step three, you would click on Set up New Payment Source. And that's where you'll be able to set it up for each individual business. Michigan's Workshare program. What is Workshare? Workshare is an option for employers to reduce employee hours instead of cutting the workforce. You can preserve jobs and a trained workforce during economic declines by providing prorated benefits to workers whose hours are reduced. Rather than being laid off, employees work a reduced number of hours and receive a portion of their potential weekly unemployment compensation based on the percentage of the reduction in hours. Eligibility requirements include unemployment taxes must be current, experience account balance must have a positive reserve, must have paid wages for 12 of the previous quarters, and employees must be permanent full-time or part-time workers. Seasonal, temporary, and intermittent workers are not eligible. Michigan's Workshare program. We're going to play a brief video regarding our program.
We know that many Michigan businesses are faced with extremely difficult choices to make when it comes to their workforce. You don't want to lay off staff, they're like family, but what else can you do? You don't want to lose your talented workforce to another employer. The answer is the Work-Share program. The Work-Share program saves employers money and skilled workers and employees jobs. Employers can restart their business and bring back employees from unemployment while having the flexibility to choose which of their employees are part of a Work-Share unit. Here's how it works. Instead of cutting jobs, you cut hours. Then employees collect partial unemployment benefits for the hours they've lost. Say an employee's hours are cut temporarily by 40%. In addition to a partial paycheck, the worker will get 40% of his or her regular weekly unemployment benefits. In other words, employers save payroll and hang on to their skilled workforce, while employees keep their jobs and collect unemployment for the hours lost. Employers retain talent. Don't think of the Work-Share program as unemployment insurance. Rather, it's employment insurance, a safety net. This is a program that keeps workers employed. This is a program that shows employees that you care. This is a program that allows employers to keep their talent. The Work-Share program protects your business during the lean times, that is, until you're ready to contact Pure Michigan Talent Connect, Michigan's employment services system, to start hiring new workers. How successful has the Work-Share program been? The majority of business owners who have used it would sign up for the program again, and virtually all would recommend it to other employers. As businesses are reopened, Work-Share can help employers bring back their employees from unemployment faster and also allow them to retain their workforce and avoid layoffs. In every business, there are peaks and valleys. When you hit one of those valleys, we'll be here for you. Here's how to reach us when you're ready to get started.
All right, so that was informational regarding our Workshare program. If you have any further questions about Workshare, please call us at 1-855-484-2636, and that'll be option 6, and we'll be able to walk you through your questions. There's also a toolkit regarding how to apply for that Workshare program in our chat. All right, UI benefit fraud. What you can do to protect your employees from UI benefit fraud and lessen the impact on your tax rate. First, you want to verify Social Security numbers at the time of hire to ensure that your employees' names and Social Security numbers match the Social Administration's records. You'll want to carefully review all notices received in your MyWAM account or by mail. Form UIA 1575E, the monetary determination. Form UIA 1136, our biweekly statement of charges and credits to the employer's account form. Our Form UIA 1770, our summary of statement of benefit charges and credits. If you notice inaccurate information on any of these forms, or if the employee referenced is still working for you, it is very important that you notify us. Now, if you suspect fraud or identity theft, you'll want to immediately protest the monetary determination or the biweekly statement of charges and credits to the employer's account. Please note that although you have 30 days to protest, notifying us within 10 days of the mail date on the monetary determination will help prevent the claim from entering pay status. Protesting the monetary determination timely in these occurrences may be the best way to stop a fraudulent claim from being paid. You'll also want to have the victim report the fraudulent activity immediately as well. Report fraud online at michigan.gov/UIA through the Report Fraud or Report Identity Theft link, which will be available on your login page when you log into MyWAM, or you can call 1-866-500-0017. And more information regarding fraud is available on our website at michigan.gov/UIA. Employee misclassification. Misclassification of employees is a problem that impacts employers, workers, and government. When workers are misclassified, they may not qualify for certain benefits, while government loses important tax revenues. The only party to benefit through misclassification is a non compliant employer who achieves an unfair business advantage over its competition. Misclassification most commonly occurs when an employer hires a worker and improperly classifies them as an independent contractor rather than as an employee. UIA created Fact Sheet 155, Independent Contractor or Employee, to help employers properly classify a person's services. What is an employee? The employer determines what needs to be done and controls how it is to be done. The person is normally directed by the employer. What is an independent contractor? They are not employees, but are in business for themselves. They are hired to accomplish a task or tasks as determined by the employer. But independent contractors retain the right to control how they will get work done. Generally, an independent contractor performs a specialized service that is not central to the overall function of the business. How are wages reported? Independent contractors should receive from employers Internal Revenue Service Form 1099-MISC, which reports payment of non employee compensation. Employees receive a W 2. Often, wages for part time, temporary, probationary, substitute, and casual labor workers are misclassified as well. Although a worker's job may be less than permanent or full time, the worker is still an employee. Misclassification also occurs when workers operate in the underground economy and are typically paid in cash, or under the table, as most people say. The wages these workers receive are not reported, and the workers do not receive a 1099 form or a W 2 from their employers. Definitely want to avoid misclassification. Audit and employer compliance. Have you been selected for an audit? As a registered contributing employer, you may be selected to participate in a UI audit. The audit will be looking for verification of wages, compliance with hearing or court rulings, securing delinquent tax returns, the filing of claims for bankruptcy, or other circumstances that may arise in the normal course of business. An audit may occur either in person by a scheduled visit from one of our auditors or using our electronic audit process, where employers can submit the required documents via the secure document portal in MyWAM. Auditors will meet you or your designated representative to explain the process. The auditor will then review the books and records and discuss with you the audit results. The auditor will provide a written report summarizing findings and conclusions, along with a notice of refund or tax due that includes penalties or interest. The auditor will explain your rights and responsibilities as an employer. After the conclusion of the audit, you will be asked to complete a post audit employer survey, which can be sent to UIA field audit surveys at michigan.gov. The UIA's field audit and employer compliance sections are responsible for identifying employer noncompliance. Noncompliance can sometimes be unintentional, honest mistakes made by employers, or intentional schemes. There are many types of employer noncompliance, including misclassification. An employer incorrectly classifies a worker as an independent contractor to avoid paying the unemployment insurance tax when legally the worker is an employee. Or SUTA dumping, the State Unemployment Tax Act dumping, which means an employer attempts to shift workforce or payroll between entities to avoid paying established or higher unemployment tax rate or liability. Unreported and underreported employee wages. Fictitious employer schemes. A fabricated business is registered with the UIA in order to obtain unemployment benefits under false pretenses. The false entity reports fake payroll and wages for non existent employees and then files benefit claims as if those employees are laid off and collects benefits under those names. And employer fraud schemes, which means misrepresentation or non disclosure of information by an employer in order to avoid or to reduce the unemployment contribution liability. This also can be a collusion between employers and employees to help the individual obtain unemployment benefits to which they are not actually entitled to. So you want to avoid all of these non-compliance issues to avoid an audit. All right, My UI, the moment we've all been waiting for. So UIA is launching My UI Tax in December 2025. My UI is Michigan's new unemployment system for employers and claimants designed with the user in mind to speed claims filing, ease filing of wage and tax reports, and include robust anti fraud measures. UIA will introduce My UI in two phases. Employers and TPAs will be first in December. That'll be December 15th, 2025, and then all users in 2026. Employers and third party administrators, or TPAs, will temporarily use both MyUI and MyWAM. The benefits of MyUI, it will be mobile friendly. It will replace a decade old system. It has robust anti fraud efforts, new plain language forms, streamlines manual processes, provides programming flexibility, updated quarterly wage reporting, user friendly design. It will increase data accuracy and will have automated dashboards and reports. Resources for employers and TPAs. These new resources will help employers and TPAs prepare for the MyUI tax go live. So we'll have the MyUI Minute. This is our new go to monthly email series from Michigan's Unemployment Insurance Agency. It's designed for Michigan employers and TPAs. This series will provide high priority information on the transition to the new MyUI system in December 2025. If you're subscribed to the Employer Advisor, you'll automatically receive the MyUI Minute. For MyUI University, that will also be available. That's our online resource library designed for Michigan employers and TPAs. It will offer a wide range of resources, including videos, file format guides, infographics, a checklist with monthly action items, and detailed information to support the transition to MyUI. The site is continuously updated with new content to provide comprehensive materials. So your go-to, you guys, will be the MyUI University on our website. Now, in case you missed it, My Login for Business, that will be for employers and third-party administrators, or TPAs. They will use My Login for Business to access MyUI with one user ID and password. You'll create or verify your account at the My Login for Business website. If you already have a My Login account, you do not need a new one for MyUI. For help, see MyUI University resources and visit the My Login help page. Or you can call OEO at 1-855-484-2636 and select option 4. The My Login for Business link is in the chat. You may want to save that in your favorites. My UI support resources. You have the ability to use the UIA chatbot for instant answers and helpful links. You can email the My UI employer support inbox at uia-myui employer support at michigan.gov to receive detailed assistance from UIA staff. You'll also have the option to call us at the Office of Employer Ombudsman, option 4. We're also going to put the email for My UI in the chat as well. And then there's also going to be a two-system transition period. Employers and TPAs will use both My UI for tax functions starting December 15th, 2025, and MyWAM for benefits functions until 2026. And for a TPA assignment, Employers can assign TPA roles in MyUI. TPAs must share their TPA ID with employers, who will then use the ID to select TPAs and assign specific roles for representation. In MyUI, only the employer TPA relationship will transfer. Detailed TPA data from the old system will not fully transfer. You will have to re-enter it. You'll want to visit MyUI University for additional resources in these topics. Also for MyUI, you want to stay on top of your records. You want to make sure that your address is updated in our system to ensure that you're receiving all of the update information. So to update your physical or legal address, you want to have the master user log into the MyWAM account. From the home page, you'll click on names and addresses, and then a confirmation number will be sent once you complete the address update. That way you'll know it's complete. To update a master user's email address, once you log in from the home page, you'll click on Settings and then Edit, and then you'll have the option to update the email address and any other profile details like passwords, security questions, etc. And then you'll hit Save. Upcoming milestones for MyUI. In October 2025, you'll be able to create a My Login for Business or log into existing My Login for Business account and add MyUI. Review in MyUI University the list of actions that must be completed in MyWAM before go live. You want to do that in October. In November 2025, you'll be able to go to MyUI University to review which actions will be completed in MyWAM and which will be completed in MyUI after go live. Become familiar with dates and information about the conversion. In November, you can go to MyUI University to review the role and assignment process for TPAs in MyUI. In December 2025, prepare for go live. It'll be starting on December 15th. You'll also have the option to activate your MyUI account in December 2025. And again, additional details will be provided each month on MyUI University. So keep up with that on our website, michigan.gov/UIA. Also, just one more reminder, this is all the information we have on MyUI at this time. Everything else will be included in the MyUI University on our website. And if you have specific questions, you can always email us to the MyUI support box. Other ways to contact us for employers, you can contact us online. You can contact us by web notice by sending UI a message in your MyWAM account after 5 p.m. Prior to 5 p.m., you have the option to chat with us live. But after 5, you can send us a message. You can contact us by phone, 1-855-484-2636. If you have a benefits or a benefits protest fax, like if you need to protest one of your employees, their wages, or protest their separation reason, the benefits protest fax is 517-636-0427. If you need to protest your rate or something about your tax account, you can contact the tax fax, and that's the 517-636-0014. Our mailing address is the Unemployment Insurance Tax Office at 3024 West Grand Boulevard, Suite 12-600 in Detroit. For fraud and identity theft, you can contact us online from our homepage. Just click the Report Fraud or Report Identity Theft link on the left-hand side. And for claimants, if any of your employees need assistance with their account, they are welcome to call 1-866-500-0017. They have their own line dedicated to them. So we cannot assist your employees at our line, at the OEO line. Your employees must call their own dedicated line for benefits, which is listed there. So we just want to thank you for attending. We want to thank you for your patience with the MyUI system, and just thank you for listening today. We truly appreciate it. If you have any more questions, you are welcome to drop them in the chat now, and we'll answer them for you. Have a great day.